Yeah, for sure. I mean, there'd be no better way to win the Euroleague than in your own city, you know, and unfortunately it's not in ours, in our gym, but any way to win in Athens would be amazing. Whenever I complete the trifecta, I'm gonna get all the BCL, Euro Cup and the Euroleague right here, and then I'll go play FIBA Europe Cup and try to win that. See you soon, big dog.
That's the only thing?
This ain't Paris.
So Tyson, the perfect icebreaker for me is talking about your childhood. I tried to find some things online. I wasn't lucky. So you're gonna tell us about your childhood. How was growing up in Florida?
Sunny, very nice, fun. Had a great time. A lot of beach, a lot of going to Disney World. You know what I'm saying? I was blessed, you know. I lived a great life. That's my childhood.
How was it growing up in a house that you had a coach, your father?
I would say tough, but an advantage because, you know, I had somebody that's played overseas, I had someone that's been around professionals, to know what hard work is, someone to push me every day, and then help me hold myself accountable. But it wasn't always easy, but it's always an advantage to have someone where you can just go home or on the car ride home, you can talk to him about basketball and, you know, he has the answers, he's seen it, he's done it. So it's a huge advantage.
Mm-hmm. But did you try other sports? I saw a picture of you playing baseball.
Yeah, I was a baseball player.
How was that?
It was my calling. I believe I was supposed to be a baseball player over a basketball player, but I decided to work harder in basketball than anything.
Which position?
I was a pitcher.
Oh.
I was lefty, so lefty and first base, you know?
Okay. In an interview, you said that you're not vocal, but you lead by example.
Yeah.
Is it easier or harder to lead by that?
I would say being vocal is probably a little bit harder because you have to practice what you preach. You know, if you're going to be vocal, you also have to be able to lead by example as well. So I feel like it's the one step up. I think I've learned that from people that I've seen that also are very vocal. You know, they take their time out to, you know, preach what's right, and they also do the things when no one's looking. You know, as a person that is a do by example, you just focus on what you need to do, and other people can look at that and be like, okay, like, you know, if you do this, this is what it looks like, you know, and that has its own challenge in itself, but I feel like being a little bit vocal is definitely a little bit tougher.
Mm-hmm. In the previous years, you learned to be a leader, a player, a good player, a winner in a certain environment of Bonn and Paris. Now you are in a team that has all of that, because in Bonn and Paris you grew up together, a group of players, you grew up together. How is it to adjust here?
I would say it's getting better by the days. Unfortunately, I have to shed that everything that I've not learned, but everything that I'm accustomed to in the past 4 years, I have to restart. You know, I have new teammates. I have people that don't know what I have, like, you know, don't know the same stuff that I know or do the same stuff that I know. I have people here that have been here 4, 5, 6 years, you know, and they have these ways, these tendencies, and now I'm no longer the guy that's, you know, like the old guy, you know, the person that's been through it and seen through it, and now I'm the new guy, and now I have to look to and turn to those guys that have been here for a while for help, you know, and it's just a flip. You know, I used to be the person that had all the answers, and now I'm the person that's seeking, asking the questions.
It's the same thing about coaches. You have Thomas Isalo, Tiago Splitter, and now George Bardzokas. How different is the latter comparing with the other two?
I would say Thomas was very vocal and was also big in holding people accountable, and I think that's the same way with Coach Bardzokas. And then, you know, Tiago was very not laid back, but more quiet. You know, he believed that we knew what was right, we knew what we needed to do, and when it was time for him to rein in everybody, he would do that. So I think I have the understanding of what it's like to play for someone that has a lot of passion, has a lot of fire, and I'm excited too. And that's the reason why, you know, I grew as a player with Isalo. You know, I could grow and have somebody, you know, if if I respect you, I'll run through a wall for you. And I feel like that's what's going on here. You know, I get more and more respect for someone that, you know, is super, super passionate about the game and knows a lot. So that's how I feel.
Do you remember the first time you heard something about Olympiacos or saw him play and you thought, at some point, I want to be part of that?
I would say when I first played them and, you know, I saw how they all played together, you know, it just seemed like it was a well-oiled machine. You know, everybody knew what was to do. They didn't do like anything, it wasn't anything too flashy. It was just the right way to play basketball. And that's the way I've learned how to play basketball. And I thought, man, I think I would really fit in here. You know, like I really think that, you know, I can move well without the ball or, you know, run around and, you know, fly around and I could really be myself.
Okay. Do you know the term Μπαρτζώκας ball? Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Okay, it's the term that we journalists use about the way of playing, of Olympiacos playing. Every year, we journalists try to find if the new signings can adjust to Μπαρτζώκας ball. In my opinion, you seem to be the player who ticks the most boxes in that. Is it like that? Because I'm talking about the philosophy of Coach Μπαρτζώκας. Is it like that?
I feel like in my eyes, yeah. I feel, you know, if I came here and I didn't tick those boxes, I think that would be a bad decision on my part. You know, if I didn't believe I could play here and help the team out and adjust, I wouldn't have came. You know, and I think learning and understanding, you know, definitely going to be some hiccups in the preseason, but obviously I believe that, you know, as time goes on, like this is the place for me.
You spent 3 years playing along Τι Τζέι Σορτς. Now he's a member of the great rival of Olympiacos Panathinaikos. Do you have a message for him?
See you soon, big dog.
That's the only thing? I've read about a story that you had before you turned pro about Lάντον Σόλμπεργκ.
Yeah.
Okay, can you guide us through that and tell what it's about?
So Landon had a really tough condition, and he'd been a part of our program at NDSU for some years. And when I first met him, everything, you know, he was going through, you know, the treatments and everything, but they didn't know which direction it was going to go. And so he came into the locker room and had kind of been like a spirit for us. And so he was around us a lot. And then, you know, as years progressed, you know, things took a turn for the worse. And, you know, he was put into a wheelchair and, you know, he had to be put on support and everything. And we, you know, our coach was big on like supporting, you know, people that supported us. And with him, you know, this was the perfect time to, you know, give back to someone that had been, you know, looking out for us. He was there when we weren't doing so well. He would come in and, you know, be like, we would be happy. He, you know, regardless win, lose or draw, you know, he'd always have a smile. And then now that we had won something, we were able to give him a ring before he passed away.
You were the player that gave him the ring.
Yeah,
actually.
so I was actually blessed enough to do that. And, you know, I still wear the shirts to this day. You know, I make sure they travel with me all the time. But it's a great story and it's a huge part of our success. And unfortunately, when he had passed, luckily we all got to go to the funeral and pay our respects. And he's a huge reason why we had so much success in college.
I also saw that your family follows you in every country that you play. How important is family for you?
Family is everything. I think they're the reason why I'm here. Without them, there wouldn't be a me. If without my support system, I wouldn't be where I'm at. And you know, every time you look up in the stands, you want to see somebody familiar. You want to know that you have a piece of, you know, your family with you. You know, there's always some comfort in that. And so, you know, wherever I go, they figure out a way to do it. My mom, my stepmom, my pops, my stepdad, my little sisters, they all find ways to get out here. And, you know, I'm very blessed enough to, you know, have a family that can do that.
Is it fair to say that you play for them? Most of the players, you know, that they turn pro and gain money, obviously.
Yeah.
They try to support their family because the family supported them in order to become pro.
Yeah, I mean, luckily I'm in a position where, you know, I can always, you know, give back, you know, and not just to my family, but, you know, to the people that have helped me, you know, communities or, you know, my AAU program. It's bigger than just my pops and my mom and my stepmom and everybody in my immediate family. It's a bigger village that helped raise me, And so whenever I can, I always, do something to help give back. I play for the name on the jersey, and I also play for the people that have helped me, put the name on my back.
Mm-hmm. What was the first thing that your teammates told you when you got here?
This ain't Paris. Definitely it's going to be different, They were excited, excited to meet me, very, very welcoming. And yeah, that's really it. And every single day I've got to know them and build friendships and bonds with them. And it's been a great experience so far.
Mm-hmm. Everybody's talking about the Final Four of 2026 that is going to be held in Oaxaca. And everybody are looking if Panathinaikos and Olympiacos will be there. Is it something that you and your teammates are thinking? Is it a motivation of you that the Final Four is going to be held here in Athens?
Yeah, for sure. There'd be no better way to win the Euroleague than in your own city, and unfortunately it's not in our gym, but any way to win in Athens would be amazing.
Mm-hmm. And last question about your tattoos.
Yep.
I know that you have Tampa on your arm. What are the others?
This is Tampa. My grandfather was a Florida Gator, so I got a Gator. This is the road that takes me home every day, and it also leads to where my family's from. And then my sister was born on Easter, so got the Easter bunny, and then my other sister's name is Music, so I got music notes. And then when I was growing up, my grandfather had a big tree in the background, and I grew up under the tree. So I have everything. I got his name here, and then I just put some words.
It's family and home.
Yeah, everything.
All about family and home. Anything on the work of maybe if you win the Euroleague or something? Or Paris or Athens? Yeah,
this is whenever I complete the trifecta, I'm gonna get all the BCL, Euro Cup and the Euroleague right here, and then I'll go play FIBA Europe Cup and try to win that, and then I'll be done with Europe.